Sometimes, behind the curtains of everyday life, hidden are dark secrets that tantalize our imagination. Embrace the world of mystery waiting to be unraveled, where each step takes us deeper into puzzles that unveil hidden truth. Prepare yourself for a journey through shadows and light as we explore the uncharted and peel back the layers of mysteries that transcend time and space. Welcome to a realm of endless questions. In this content, we will push the boundaries of reality. At the edge of South Sulawesi, a dense forest lies hidden, known as the Karamak Forest by the locals. This area is considered sacred and mystical, where ancient myths still stand tall in daily life. The villagers believe that this forest is inhabited by the spirits of their ancestors who safeguard the balance of nature. In an old wooden hut on the forest's fringe lives an elderly woman named Mia. She has been here since birth, becoming the keeper of ancient tales. One day, a newcomer named Added arrives in the village. Added is an anthropologist intrigued by understanding local myths and beliefs. Madam Mia, could you tell me about the myths of the Karamak Forest? Added asks. Mia smiles.
Of course, dear. These myths have been passed down through generations. One famous myth is about the Tree of Light deep within the forest. It's said to shine like a star in the darkest night.
Added is intrigued. Why does the tree shine? Mia responds.
It's said that the tree is a gift from the gods, symbolizing eternal life. The light it emits is the energy of our ancestral spirits, preserving life in this forest.
As night falls, Nia and Added sit by a campfire. In the distance, they hear mysterious singing carried by the wind.
Those are the songs of the forest spirits gathering,
Nia says with a smile. Weeks pass by, and Added becomes more fascinated by these myths. One day, he meets Leela, a young girl from a neighboring village. They talk about the butterfly queen, a beautiful creature said to maintain the balance of nature. Leela says,
Every few years, the butterfly queen appears in different forms. Supposedly, anyone who sees her gains a lifetime of luck.
Added curious. Have you ever seen her? Leela shakes his head.
No, only a few chosen individuals have that privilege. But the legend gives us hope and respect for nature.
When the rainy season arrives, the forest becomes even more mysterious. Added and Leela walk towards a river that runs through the woods. Along the riverbank, they find strange footprints etched into the ground. What are these footprints? Added inquires. Leela furrows his brow.
Perhaps the tracks of a legendary creature that still roams these woods. Some say it's the forest guardian, an entity that prevents humans from harming nature.
Nightfall arrives, and the forest becomes darker. The villagers gather around a large clearing. Nia stands in the middle.
This is the night of the Forest Guardian celebration. We gather to thank the ancestral spirits that preserve this land.
Amidst the night, a faint light appears atop a giant tree. The villagers bow, sensing a formidable presence. Added touched. These myths aren't just stories, they're an integral part of their culture and life. Leela nods.
The mystery and beliefs provide the soul of this place, making us respect nature and inherit ancestral values.
Under the light of the full moon, they witness a ritual that embraces the past, nature, and unseen spirits. The myths of South Sulawesi continue to thrive, bridging the gap between the tangible world and the enigmatic cosmos. In the morning after the Forest Guardian Day celebration, a tranquil atmosphere settled over the village. Nia and Leela invited Ada to visit a place considered sacred by the villagers. They arrived at a large stone amidst the forest, known as the Stone of Balance. Nia explained,
"This stone is seen as a bridge between the human world and the spirit realm. In certain situations, a sacrificial ritual is conducted here to maintain the balance of nature."
Adat was puzzled. A sacrificial ritual? How does that work? Leela replied,
"The ritual is only performed when nature experiences a serious imbalance. But it's quite rare, and the sacrifice must be a volunteer willing to offer themselves."
Later that evening, the forest began to darken. Strange sounds echoed around them. Suddenly, a group of villagers arrived in traditional attire, carrying ritual tools. They led Adat to the Stone of Balance. "Nia, why are they bringing Adat?" Leela asked with concern. Nia looked down.
"It seems that nature sensed an imbalance from Adat's visit. This is a difficult decision, but they believe this ritual is the only way to restore equilibrium."
Adat felt tense. He realized the situation and spoke up. "But I don't want to be a sacrifice. We need to find another way to address this imbalance." The villagers remained silent, but an older and influential youth spoke firmly. "This is our community's decision. The ritual must proceed." Adat felt trapped. He knew he couldn't fight against the villagers' strong beliefs. Yet, he couldn't simply resign himself to becoming a sacrifice either. As the ritual began, Adat attempted to persuade them to halt the plan. However, the villagers stood firm in their resolve. Suddenly, he saw Leela trying to intervene and confront the villagers.
"We can't sacrifice someone to appease nature's imbalance."
Leela exclaimed passionately. The debate escalated. Adat noticed some villagers approaching Leela with anger. He knew he had to act. When one of the villagers tried to harm Leela, Adat swiftly leapt forward, using his physical strength to protect her. "Villagers, this isn't right. We must seek a wiser solution," Adat shouted. With the forest shrouded in darkness, the tension in the air grew stronger. Adat and Leela stood amidst the determined villagers, facing the looming threat of the unwanted sacrificial ritual. As the sun set, the brightness of the full moon became the only source of light that illuminated the dark forest. A group of villagers supporting the sacrificial ritual approached them with gleaming eyes and tense expressions. In front of them stood a young man who seemed to be the leader of the group, stating with a heavy voice, "This is a decision we've made for the sake of nature's balance and our village's safety." Leela stood her ground, her gaze full of determination.
"But this is not right. We shouldn't sacrifice someone to fulfill a belief."
Adat chimed in. "I respect your beliefs, but let's find another solution that doesn't involve taking a life." An elderly villager who acted as the village advisor tried to ease the situation. "Adat, we appreciate your good intentions, but this belief has been around since our ancestors' time. We can't disregard our tradition and belief." The villagers supporting the sacrificial ritual moved closer, their faces showing unwavering determination. Some of them began raising ritual tools and wooden sticks as signs of preparation. Suddenly, the atmosphere turned tense and charged. Several of the supporters approached Adat and Leela with aggression in their eyes. Leela stood between them, trying to keep a distance, but the situation escalated. Adat realized he had no other choice. He knew he had to take action to protect himself and Leela. When one of the villagers attempted to strike Leela with his stick, Adit swiftly intervened. With quick and agile movements, Adit dodged the attack and kicked the stick out of the villager's hand. He then tried to defuse the situation. "Stop! We don't need to do this. Let's sit down and discuss this calmly." However, tensions continued to rise. Some of the emotional villagers attempted to approach Adit in anger, trying to prevent him from speaking further. Leela also tried to fend them off, but the situation grew more complicated. The tension reached its peak when one of the red-faced villagers attempted to push Adit. Adit responded quickly with a swift punch, evading the attack and causing the villager to stumble. The villagers supporting the sacrificial ritual grew even angrier and moved forward, leading to an unavoidable physical clash. Leela also tried to protect herself and Adit, attempting to dodge attacks while speaking loudly to call for peace. Sounds of physical clashes and shouts filled the air, creating chaos in the midst of the dark night. Several of the wiser villagers tried to calm the situation, attempting to separate the feuding groups. However, the intense energy from the battle made it difficult to achieve peace. After a while, as some of the wiser young men managed to create a gap in the fight, the sounds of shouting and clashes gradually subsided. Both sides realized that this fight would not lead to a positive outcome. Adit and Leela stood, their faces covered in sweat and dirt from the intense battle. The situation eventually calmed down, and the feuding groups separated. The tranquil sight of the forest returned, but the atmosphere remained tense. The young man who had previously led the supporters of the sacrificial ritual stepped forward, nodding to Adit and Leela. "You're right. We should find another way to maintain the balance of nature." Adit and Leela breathed a sigh of relief, knowing that they had managed to change the minds of some villagers and choose a peaceful path. The fierce battle had imparted a valuable lesson about the value of life and the balance of nature, illustrating the complexity of the relationship between tradition, belief, and change within a society. Leela approached Adit with a gentle gaze.
You've shown us that there's an alternative way to address imbalance. We can collaborate with nature instead of sacrificing a life.
After the incident, Adit remained in the village for some time, working together with the villagers to preserve the balance of nature. The tale of his struggle spread throughout the region, reinforcing their respect for life and the environment. The myths and beliefs of South Sulawesi's community continued to evolve, enriched by the story of Adit and Leela, who defended the balance of nature. They understood that the mysteries of the forest weren't challenges to conquer, but bridges connecting humans with their environment and the spirits of their ancestors.